Welcome back to the channel, everyone. My name is SASS, and today we are discussing the Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon version 1.03 patch notes. Well, we've just received a massive patch from the awesome developers over at Questline. They've done some great work here, updating a few things, fixing a whole bunch of bugs, doing some optimization work as well. So lots of really good things coming with this patch, but we're going to dive in and check this out today. If you haven't yet, make sure that you join us over on Discord, follow over on Twitch, and as well as Kick. We're streaming over there now. If you'd like to support the channel, you can support us over on Patreon, over the subscribe on either Kick or Twitch. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel so that we can reach 500 subscribers before the end of the year. All the links are down in the description below. If you'd like to follow along, you'll find the patch notes there as well. Without further ado, let's just dive on in. Let's see what's changed. Alright, so big patch version 1.03 is live. Our biggest update so far. Take a look here at what the devs have to say. Hey everyone, first of all, we'd like to start with a big fat thank you again. The reception of Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon has been absolutely amazing. And seeing so many people passionate about the game is absolutely rewarding. We're getting tons of feedback from you all every day. Some very positive, some negative, and no matter what, we always read and listen. One thing you can be certain of, we will definitely keep working on the game until all the bugs are ironed out. We're also planning to add a lot of extra stuff. Either way, seeing so many people passionate about Tainted Grail is extremely humbling for us, and it motivates us to keep going. In today's update, 450,000 copies of Tainted Grail have been sold. Big thank you to everybody out there who's been sharing the game, covering the game, everything like that. I've been playing this since about version 0.7. Couldn't wait for 1.0 to come out. It's been an absolute blast. I was also part of the beta testing team for 1.0. We had an absolute great time working on this one. I know the devs are super passionate, so thank you everyone for getting them to 450,000 copies. That's amazing for an indie studio like this. And we're also going to be talking about the roadmap on what is coming up next. Of course, going over all of the patch notes for the big patch version 1.03. And we'll check out some of the community screenshots and art that have been shared over on the Discord. All right, well, let's get into it. First up, we're going to talk about the roadmap, what we have coming up next. Here are the most important things we'll be working on over the next few weeks and months. Regular patches to address major bugs and performance issues. We're aiming for weekly patches, but they may come sooner or later. We'll continue this work for months to come. We're working on enabling mod support, expected in about 3 to 4 weeks. That's really exciting. A game like this definitely is going to keep its longevity with a robust modding community, and I've already seen a lot of people working on ideas on what they're going to bring for the modding support. So very exciting to see that that is coming to Steam version at the very least. A special performance version for Steam Deck is in development. Exact timing is to be determined, so that's pretty cool. You'll be able to play Tainted Grail on the go. A huge batch of extra content is coming with patch 1.1, which will include many of the most popular community requests, especially in the Forlorn Swords Act 3 region. We're aiming for an August release. We won't spoil anything, but expect some really cool additions. And we're also exploring other popular requests, such as a New Game Plus feature. All right, let's dive into it. A big patch version 1.03. As you'll see below, there's a lot of stuff. Before diving into the details, we want to give a quick explanation for some of the bugs. Please note, this is not supposed to be an excuse. We take full responsibility for the issues. When we set out to make Tainted Grail, we wanted to create a deep and complex adventure, both in terms of storytelling and exploration. We also wanted to give you, the player, as much freedom as possible. That's why you can kill many NPCs, experience wildly different quest outcomes, and approach things in any order. We wanted to minimize hand-holding, just like we'd expect as players. Of course, the cost of that freedom is that there are so many different options, and sometimes the most random combinations can cause problems. Here's one bug example we encountered before launch. Using the relic system, you can upgrade weapons. All good. But then, if you sell that item to a vendor, it's still fine. But then, a few hours later, when the vendor's inventory resets, boom, the game experiences problems and crashes. Anyway, that's just a quick preamble to help explain where some of the weird bugs are coming from. That said, we are extremely motivated to find and fix every single one. Your experience with Tainted Grail keeps getting better. We also appreciate your continued support. here are the full patch notes. A nice little forward from them there. The guys over at Questline are really, really awesome. They're very involved with the community, always chatting with people. So if you haven't yet, make sure you join their Discords that you can put in your own bug reports and whatever else you find. And also just hang out with the community. There's a really awesome group of people over there that are super passionate about the game. So if you're looking for, you know, mods upcoming, ideas and tips and tricks and that kind of thing. Also sharing some of the art and some of the fan stuff that we've been playing around with. Definitely go check that out. All right, starting off with the critical fixes. They fixed one source of crashes. We have another crash fix in progress as well, but it needs more extensive testing before being pushed out to you guys. This is a good show. Had a few people reporting crashes and stuff. I think I've had one crash in about 40 or 50 hours worth of gameplay. So I've done quite well. I haven't seen a whole lot of really bad bugs or anything like that. So I've been quite lucky, but I know other people definitely have not been. PC missing saves. The most common cause of missing saves on PC has been due to the game failing to find Steam and loading GOT or fallback saves. Last week, we added a pop-up informing you when Steam could not be found. This week, we have added a pop-up that asks you whether you want to move saves found in the other folders to your Steam folder automatically. We recommend that everyone migrate using the pop-up. Items with special effects have been optimized, and this should help with performance for players further in the game or hoarders who have many unique items with them. They fixed a few memory leaks in our UI visuals. The quest in the Fields of Kunakt will no longer permanently block players saving Monstrous Marriage. Interesting. I haven't encountered that one yet, haven't made it into Kunakt, but good to see that they are working on a lot of those regression blockers. That was a major thing that they were working on this time around, was optimization and just fixing up any of those quests that might have broken as you're going along. Lockpicking now uses the main camera. Significantly decreasing the memory footprint is especially important on consoles. Very nice to see. That should make it a little bit smoother for you guys that are playing over on PlayStation and Xbox. And as for the most requested, after finishing the game, you can now choose to keep playing and explore the world further or to quit. This is a really nice little feature that they added in. Obviously, you get to a certain point. There's a point of no return. I won't spoil anything for you guys, but you do get to a point where you will start a quest, complete the quest, and then the game just ends on you. This is obviously just to allow you to continue going back with your current character, keep doing some of those quests and side quests and things that you might have missed out on from the start. Obviously, they do have plans for a possible New Game Plus coming, so hopefully that will open up a lot more. You'll be able to kind of work your way through the story and then go back with a New Game Plus and catch all those things that you might have missed. And they added kill prevention to some essential NPCs in Kunakt and the Forlorn Swords regions. The player will now have to intentionally execute them, preventing accidental murders by the player or other enemies. This is something that I noticed quite a bit of in the Steam discussions. People talking about how a certain NPC had died and they weren't able to complete a quest because of that or continue on with the story. Obviously, this is partially intended by the guys over at Questline. You're supposed to be able to basically lock yourself out of certain quests by killing NPCs, but obviously they want to stop you from accidentally killing one of those NPCs. So a nice little change there. Prevented enemies from shooting backwards when the player dodges behind them. Nice little fix there. Added an option in the fireplace to bring Urko back when it's lost. Visual change for spells such as Impenetrable Shield, Mystic Ward, and Arcane Aegis. Very nice. Hopefully just updating those and optimizing them a little more. Item weight is now displayed to 2 decimal places for very light items. Otherwise, it remains rounded to 1 decimal place. Really nice to see. Hopefully that will reduce some of the overweight issues that we've been seeing. Rebalanced upgrading of 53 different weapons so that they gain both damage and improve their special effects. Nice. Weapon balancing is something that definitely needed to be done. There were some that were ridiculously strong and other ones that you may as well slap them with a feather. It's a nice little tweak there. Added item effect gains upon upgrading in handcrafted sets. Very nice. Rebalanced armor weight loss when upgrading. Have to see how that balanced out. Reducing armor weight was definitely a nice touch. Fixed player summons, sometimes not attacking when outside of the player FOV. Fixed player summons not attacking NPCs that are by default non-hostile towards the player, but the player is engaged in combat with them. From now on, summons should be able to exit interiors with you. Very cool. Not going to have to re-summon those characters every time you go in and out of somewhere. Disabled collisions with the player summons outside of combat. Nice. This is a nice touch. I noticed a lot of people that were getting stuck on their summoned creatures, getting in the way. They're trying to explore, getting body blocked all the time. So it's a really nice touch. And retroactively fixed the dialogue flow with Barlam in the quest The Trial. As for the achievements, they fixed the conditions for the Crown of Ashes achievement / trophy. Fixed the conditions for End My Axe achievement and trophy. Fixed Honor Over Life achievement trophy was blocked in the Brothers in Arms quest. Was completed despite player not giving all dog tags to the quartermaster. If you were affected by this bug, now you can come back to the quartermaster, give him the remaining dog tags despite completing the quest earlier to obtain the Honor Over Life achievement / trophy. Cool. Ninian's dog tag is now required in the Brother in Arms quest. Pate's dog tag is not required anymore for the Honor Over Life achievement trophy. Cool. Quests, a warning, a possible spoiler. So if anybody doesn't want to hear about some spoilers, you can always skip forward to this timestamp and we will discuss more of the updates that have nothing to do with the story. So you have been warned, possible spoilers incoming. A big spoiler for the HOS main quest. Urath will no longer die after 7 hours in-game if you convince him to leave HOS. Dialogue fix. Some options in dress dialogue would end it prematurely, blocking further progress. Okay. Unholy matrimony can be completed if NPCs are killed before talking to them. Denholm now gives the correct reward, the quest Forging a Path. The player will now be able to ask Asgal about Tom only once. Extinction of the weak quest marker should correctly target Dolph. Stitch by stitch quest markers and respawning ores have been fixed. See No Evil quest markers are now fixed as well. They fixed the NPC Abner's dialogue lines. And in Divided We Fall and Arthur's Crown interactions and non-linear flow has been improved. The old letter should be found only in one specific place. A Carnation to Remember can be finished after finishing other quests. Blade in the Shadows can be completed if you decide to collect the bounty before talking to the NPC. And fixed Deep Calleth Upon Deep quest, the chest will no longer stay in the inventory. Fixed dialogue flow for the quest The Weight of Honor. And Petition the Lord quest should correctly lead the player now. Cuckoo's Egg failed task can lead to failing a quest. Over My Dead Bodies consequences have been fixed. The Silent Burden quest should give rewards and its progression should be more straightforward. Denholm will now correctly pay the player for his silence in the quest Burdening Letter. The player will no longer be able to continuously speak with Brother Vitus about abortion. Okay, it's a random one. Removed some incorrect dialogue from Lyle. Fixed an issue where the players could not lie to Rigby when delivering his book. They fixed Era's dialogues after she returns home. Fixed an issue where the player couldn't progress the Storm Warden's questline if they sold Kor's amulet. The recipe will be restored to players who lost it upon entering the Forlorn Swords. And a spoiler for Brotherly Love. They fixed a bug where exiting the conversation with Rob before asking about his grandfather would block the progress. And a spoiler for Alchemists. The Alchemist questline can be continued after killing Dolph by reading his research. And a spoiler for Sweet Dreams. Nest's portal should now be easier to interact with. Very nice. All right, so that's it for the quest updates. So if you skipped ahead to this point, welcome back. Hopefully we didn't spoil anything for you there and you'll be able to continue on and enjoy all of those little quest lines. Lots of big updates and fixes along there, so always good to see. Okay, next up we have audio fixes. They fixed the Giant Sentinel audio volume levels. Fixed the sounds of Villican's Eldritch Reaver, which is guarding the Pix hideout in Act 3. Fixed the audio length of one of the runes lines. Resolved an issue where Skuld would begin to speak, but immediately stop when approaching the gate in Thude's village within the Ghost Realm. Weirdness music event has been updated. Improved layer adaptation for dynamic transitions. Nice. Sometimes it would just kind of start and stop, so good to see. That should add for some more immersion. There should now be combat music when fighting the boss in Sagramore Castle. And next up, text and voiceovers. I added multiple missing voiceovers. There were a few characters that I noticed that had some missing voiceovers. Good to see that. JP added another big patch of missing Japanese localization for dialogues in Forlorn Swords, and the Whispers should cover probably 99% of the missing dialogue. Any left missing will be added soon. So obviously some localization issues that they've had. When translating over to different languages and stuff, it can definitely take a long time, but great to see that they are supporting the Japanese language. Fixed a description of several items. Great Mistake, Chatterblade Fragments, Heiko's Crumble, Old Steel Fang, and Hollow Core. And they fixed absorption spell description to properly state mana shield as a percentage value. And fixed spell siphon talent description, and added a description of Skull Knight's blade sword. And next up we have some technical fixes here. Fixed an edge case that prevented all hero attacks from happening. Most often happened on fast travel from the bonfire to a different map. I did notice this happened once or twice to me when traveling around, even in Horns of the South. So really nice to see them fix that. It didn't happen often. I think maybe once or twice in all of my gameplay. But definitely an issue when you fast travel and then try and kill a skeleton or something, and they just take you out because you're not doing damage to them. New ones swimming in the ocean should now take waves into consideration. Okay, cool. Fixed an issue where enemies could disappear at certain angles after death. Disappearing bodies was definitely something I noticed. Fixed an issue that prevented players from attacking after switching loadouts while lumbering. Sometimes missing VFX on players' hands while wielding magic should always be visible now. Very nice. Fixed controller vibrations breaking in some cases. Fixed various two-handed axes not properly registering heavy attacks on lumbering spot. And a new item tooltips now accurately reflect player stats when requirements aren't met, making stat comparisons easier in shops crafting relics and upgrades. This is a great addition. Having just those little green and little red indicators, it really makes a big difference when comparing stuff around. I usually just kind of swapped back and forth between items and made sure I was paying attention, but that's a nice little quality of life fix. And resolved performance issues on PlayStation 5 in the Dungeon Galahad. Very nice. Good to see that they are supporting some of that optimization on console. Added 2 new debug console commands: template.revive NPC and memory.clear faction unforgivable crime, provided as is. Okay. Makes a lot of sense if you happen to accidentally kill one of the NPCs that's very important, or piss off a certain faction or something, you wanted to continue with those storylines. Obviously, this is a good way to fix some of the previous bugs that we've seen. In the future, a fix for the infinite selling of an item will land in the next patch, so build your piles of gold and items before then. You can always use mods if you really want to have infinite amounts of any item. That's fair. I didn't know that there was a bug for selling items. That's really funny. All right, we've got some gameplay updates. Added the Marrowghast helmet recipe to Uko's shop. Very cool. Fixed arcane mace item mana cost. Fixed stat increases when upgrading certain armors. Elisa set, Festering set, Flayed Drowner set, and Spellslinger set. Yeah, I never upgraded any of the Flayed Drowner. The Flayed Drowner has some really cool perks and stuff, but upgrading them, you really get not a whole lot for stats. So nice to see them fixing all that. Increased effects of individual parts. The Archdruid set. Okay. And they fixed Gem of Dodge not properly decreasing dash cooldown. And fixed reusable resources talent, sometimes duplicating all of the currently held ethereal cobwebs. I've seen this one. It hasn't happened to me personally, but I have noticed some people with like 1 million ethereal cobwebs, which is crazy to see, but obviously that's all fixed now, so you have to find those cobwebs on your own. Fixed Galahad's mace, sometimes not applying burn on hit. I also did notice this one as well. I actually had a couple of people saying that it was freezing people instead of burning, so that's a funny little bug there that nice to see they fixed that. Deirdre's chest can no longer be opened with a lockpick. Makes sense, you need a key for that one. Changed Arnulf's loot in the Smuggler's Bay. Okay. Sour herring and cheese no longer decreases the encumbrance limit when eaten. Thank God. Sour herring and cheese doesn't really give you a whole lot, but it did reduce your encumbrance limit, which was kind of interesting. But in my opinion, I think narratively sound. Like, if you ate a bunch of sour herring and cheese, you're not going to be feeling too great. I added a player's room to the Children of Morrigan hideout. Fixed weight balance spell affecting the hero summons. Buffed boars in Sagramore Castle. Fixed Heiko's Crumble description and effects. Update the Tide Piercer projectile collision. Fixed projectiles made by Scourge of the Seas and Tide Piercer occasionally not hitting enemies. Good. Rebalanced and fixed Bear's Claw to be in line with other items of its tier. And fixed Severing Ray, sometimes using light cast logic when being heavy casted. Oh, interesting. And Giant's Club is no longer a usable weapon. Oh, that's no fun. Maybe they'll do a version of it, like the small Giant's Club or something like that. I think that would be really funny. All right, and on to some miscellaneous fixes. Frost grots are now considered animals. Okay, I wonder if they were considered before. Humans, maybe? That's interesting. Moved the location of copper ore in Ulfer Village. Fixed a diggable chest in Gunvolder Village. Kirko will now be more aligned with the ground it's standing on. The campfire mistakenly affected the player's total weight. Not anymore. Okay. Improved the level up notification. Improved the quest notification. Good to see. Fixed interaction with the alchemy station at the Tomb of the Good Druid. Fixed an issue whereby a player could fall outside the water in one of Kunak's rivers. Did see some people reporting that. They're falling through the ground. It's not good. Nice little fix. Journal was not counting summons kills. Oh, interesting. It was only counting player kills. Well, I guess, yeah, you're using mana and stuff, so you're basically using magic, so it should count those kills. That's fair. They fixed the bonfires in Kunak and fixed weirdstone mining in Kunak dungeons. All right, next up we have some visual changes. Human summons are wearing proper summon markings on their clothes, so you can tell them apart from the others, obviously. Blind status has gotten a VFX rework. They fixed the missing lip movement for some speaking characters. Nice to see. There was the odd character here and there that just kind of stand and stare at you stoically while they talked into your brain. Updated Floor Dweller, Remor Mage, and White attack VFXs to better represent their actual area of effect. Cool. Make it easier to fight against them. Fix the VFX charge explosion on Snail. Fix the distortion Y offset on Bonefire. And fixed a mask layer of Bonefire fire visible from the top. Interesting. Guards in Kunak will now wear helmets. Okay. Dark clouds are no longer visible in Dungeon Frigg. Fixed color issues in the effects of Flickerbolt, Thunderlash, and Storm Piercer. And updated the visual effects for the Mistbearer boss fight. Very cool. Additional VFX AoE for Archmage and White enemies. And fixed the bounds in VFX Floating Snow. And fixed the bounds in VFX Companion Light. And fixed a bug with the elevator chain in the Corrupted Temple. And blocked the unused doors with boards in the Horns of the South Castle. That makes sense. You're not accidentally trying to walk through a door. That doesn't work. Fixed trees placed in the wrong places in HOS and Forlorn. Okay. By the way, HOS, if anybody's wondering, is Horns of the South, obviously, just shorthanded. Ghosts with hair should render correctly after game load. Very cool. No more bald ghosts. Fix the issue where wheat was generated underwater in Kunakt. Some kind of fantasy wheat growing under the water. Added missing depth fade card under the ladder in Broke. Killing planes have been added to higher places in Sangamore Castle, and the rock embedded in the floor in the underground section has been removed. So you won't be able to climb up that high and obviously use that rock to like try and glitch underground. VFX Heart of the Plague visibility of the debris layer has been fixed. And they fixed a floor gap near the portal in Prologue Jail. And they fixed the issue with the furnace clipping through the floor in the player's house in Kunakt. Improved the snow explosion effect used in Cold Magic. Updated visual effects for the Tide Piercer / explosion. Updated the visual in the Weird Spawn Dead event. Very cool. Tide Piercer coatings fix. Like they've done a bunch of fixes to the Tide Piercer. Drain of Vigor visual update. Projectile trails tweaks. I've adjusted a few of those to make the trails a little more obvious. Added visual effects to signal or acquisition when destroying it. And they tweaked the VFX when activating souls in the resurrection room. Conquer's beard now moves when he talks. And they updated Githa's appearance as well. And Ulfar tribesfolk NPCs will now wear helmets. And they fixed some floating coins and removed objects located outside the map in the dungeon crypt small level. Very nice. Well, looks like quite a few little updates and fixes. Lots of little tweaks on the Tide Piercer. A bunch of different little fixes and adjusts here and there. And pretty good. Lots of little quality of life stuff. Fixed, balanced a bunch of items and weapons and things. We're looking pretty good. A nice little update, I have to say. And last but not least, they of course shared a bunch of the art and the fan art and the screenshots and stuff that we've had over on the Discord. So if you guys want to check those out, here is a quick little sneak peek of those, but make sure you go over and join the Discord and check out some of the cool stuff that everybody is making over on the Discord. We've got some really, really fun stuff going on over there. Some great artists, obviously some beautiful in-game sketches and stuff that we've seen. Great screenshots, a lot of really cool screenshots that I've seen popping up as I've been bouncing around in the Discord there, trying not to get spoiled too much, but beautiful, beautiful locations in this game. They've done a great job with the backgrounds. Absolutely amazing. Oh, that's really cool. I like that helmet. That's a neat helmet. I have to keep an eye out for that one. Oh, wow. Oh, those are cool swords. Yeah, so we've seen some really, really cool stuff. Obviously, we also made it on there with our SASS, the Shovel Knight. Our fancy upgraded shovel we've been working on for the last little while. So if you guys haven't been watching along, make sure you tune in. We are going to be live again pretty soon and continuing with our shovel only run. Little fish party going on there by Ghost Mantle. What is your build in all of Avalon? A mage. There are some good items for a mage. Very good items. Okay, here's the yeah. This is all. That's pretty cool. I like the helmet. The neat helmet. This is true. Some of the items for mage are female coded, which is kind of hilarious. You get some really funny costumes and builds. All right. And that's it for today. Once again, thank you for playing so much for playing our game, for the continuous support, and for your patience. We're working hard on polishing Tainted Grail and fixing issues so it can become an even better game for everyone out there. Cheers from Questline and the Awakened Realms team. Well, if you guys haven't yet, make sure you pop over to Steam, grab yourself a copy of Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon. It's an amazing game. I've really been enjoying it a lot. All of my friends who've been playing it have basically told me it's the best RPG that they played in a long time. Obviously, there's still a few bug fixes and things, a little bit of polishing that still needs to be done. But for the most part, the game is really, really fun. I've been enjoying the heck out of it. Big congratulations to Questline and Awaken Realms for reaching 450,000 copies sold. I think that's a really, really cool for an indie development studio like this. I think it really shines a light on what these smaller development studios and indie studios can actually do, putting out quality games like this, and obviously for a decent price as well. So if you'd like to pick up Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon, I will have a link down in the description below. If you'd like to check out all of these patch notes for yourself, go through them all, maybe find the fix for that bug that has been plaguing your gameplay, I will have that also linked down in the description. And of course, if you haven't yet, make sure to follow and subscribe to us over on Twitch. Best way to support the channel. We're also streaming over on Kick now. If you'd like to come check us out, we are going to be having our first stream over on Kick on June 7th. We're going to be going over all of the changes for Path of Exile 2 and Path of Exile 1. So definitely come and check us out there. If you haven't yet, make sure you join the Discord and also subscribe over here on YouTube. We are looking to reach 500 subscribers. So if you'd like to keep it up to date on all things SASS, Discord is the best place for that. And I will have more patch notes discussions coming for Tainted Grail, and of course for Path of Exile 2, and any other games that we end up digging our toes into. I'm probably going to do a lot more of these patch notes discussions and going over things, a little bit more gaming news and stuff like that as well, happening over on Kick probably once a week. We're going to do ourselves a little gaming news session. So yeah, if that's something that interests you, definitely give us a follow and a subscribe over there. We'd absolutely love to have you along for the ride. I think that's everything for today. I hope that that was at least entertaining, if not informative for you. That was the patch notes discussion on Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon version 1.03. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you next time. Happy hunting, survivors.